What is the difference between Vinyasa yoga and yin yoga? So I've just had a question from one of our members. I'm the creator of the yoga and Pilates Genie lesson planners. My name's George Watts, and I'm a British yoga teacher. And I'm going to, try to give my definition of what Vinyasa is and what yin yoga is. So let's go over into. I've logged into my. So I'm a yoga teacher, so I use my planner that I created for my own classes. So this is one of my lesson plans, and it's peak pose with boat pose, so how this generally works, what I tend to do in my classes is I start off with yin, really kind of yin passive poses, where I get my students really just to kind of stay in a pose for a little while. And it's normally, I start them on the floor, seated in floor poses, and then gradually build them up. They get onto their knees, and they'll come up from there, and they'll start going into standing poses. So really, yin yoga, the simplest definition is when you're kind of holding the pose for a while. So you're maybe holding it for 30 seconds or a minute, or it could be longer. For a vinyasa flow, you're just going pretty quickly but smoothly. It's never jerky movements, but you're going pretty quickly. Just classic vinyasa flow is obviously sun salutations. So when you do a sun salutation, you tend to usually go through those poses pretty quickly but smoothly. So that's the definition. So really, this class here really. Any lesson plan or sequence that you do slowly, that you're holding poses for 30 seconds or more, is yin, and if you're going quicker, that would be a vinyasa flow. So in the same lesson plan, so this lesson plan here could be a yin lesson plan, and it could also be a vinyasa lesson plan, depending on how you teach it. So I could have this as everything just being yin. So all these poses here, even the standing ones, I could have them, holding them for like 15-30 seconds each pose, just to learn the pose. So this is usually what I do when I've got a beginner's class or the first class of a 6 or a 10-week course that I'm doing. We'll learn the poses. Just have a quick brief refresher for each of the poses. So we'll go slowly for each pose and hold the pose. So that's the yin section of the class, of the lesson plan. And then later in the class, once they've familiarized themselves and I've demoed the pose and they've held the poses, we'll progress onto a vinyasa, a vini flow session of the class. So that's generally what I'm doing here. So a good thing with the lesson planner, you can break the sequences up. So here I've got end flow at the end of each sequence. So when you're looking down at the lesson plan, you can see the end of a sequence and the beginning of a new one. So that's how that looks, and then you can view this online. So you click the view plan online, and this is the long version of the lesson plan, which has is kind of a bit of a teaching aid for teachers, because it has all the teaching directions, alternatives, benefits, the video modifications for each pose. So what we call the long version. And then if you wanted to go into the print settings, what you tend to take into a class with you would be the short version. So I click short version plan there, click save changes. I'm just going to view the plan online here. So that'll pop up with that plan there. So there's the long version, there's the short version. So that would you could take that into class with you. Like that, and there's lots of different print settings as well, so you can get them large or extra large poses, and you can also download it as a PDF as well if you wanted to. So to recap, very simple. Sorry if this sounds overly simplistic, but a vinyasa flow is going to be when you're going fairly quickly through the poses, like sun salutations, and a yin yoga class would be where you're just holding the poses longer. Hope that helps.